all the Jobovians in chat. Shout out to you guys, Jobovians, if you play the Jobava London. But let's see if we get one. If he's going to play it against Magnus himself, I don't know here. Usually he plays something different with White against Magnus, but we will see. So I'm excited. What about you? Any
Yeah,
other matchups you like in this season?
Well, we're also going to see some openings that might not have made as much of an appearance in the World Rapid. Even in the Rapid, I remember you and I discussing, James, certain openings that we were excited to see that were maybe a little bit more dubious than what you might play in Classical. In Blitz, anything goes. We will see more risks being taken, especially when high-rated players play, players that they kind of expect to win against. They're really not looking for a dry position. And so that just makes for more exciting chess as a result. So I am excited to see some of the openings that are going to be selected by the players here. And I do expect more risk being taken than the Rapid.
Excited. And there he is with that famous Balenciaga sweater, but he has a different one, actually. Dubov got a Balenciaga. He should be a Balenciaga spokesman for the chess version. The chess line of Balenciaga.
He's making a case for it. It's definitely just a little bit iconic. And surprisingly enough, the most famous dress code scandal in chess does not belong to Dubov.
That's incredible. Yes. Man, Dubov and his Balenciaga. Nice.
We see Jan Nepomniachtchi on the screen there. MVL. The players are starting to take their seats. We're joining in the middle of things here. Remember, there is quite a lot of rounds in this event. So I believe we are playing a total of 13 today.
13 today is a lot of rounds, and especially a lot of composure, especially if you're not having a like a good tournament. If it's bad for you or you're starting off bad, I mean, it could be, you got a long day in the office, right? But if it's a great tournament for you, I mean, you're excited to see how far can you actually go, how far can you push the envelope here. So it's important to understand.
And here we go. Bortnik, not only a huge online personality, with his streaming channels. But speaking of personality, how about the move A3 on move number 1? Just going to talk about his, not only incredible ability to play Blitz at a very high level, but also his creativity. And we're seeing it with the move A3 on move number 1.
Yeah, and he did this in another game that he won. And I was like, he played A3. Like, I wonder if there was a smile or a smirk when he played it. But no. A3 again, and he still don't care about nothing, Ahmad.
Yeah, it's funny because the move A3, he's not really incorporating it into the setup yet. It's just going to be there. And what? Do we already see a result? Yes, the countryman, Bu Jiangzi against Lu Shanglei from China has already, and I repeat, already ended in a draw. And yes, much to the chat's enjoyment, it is the Lu Bu draw.
I see that chat. The chat's like Lubu, Bulu, the Bulu, the Lubu draw. Exactly, whatever you want to call it. Say that 5 times fast, okay? But yeah, he's like, buddy, we're not gonna do this. Not here, not today. Let's go get some lunch.
Well, looking at the bird's eye view here, obviously the women's section on top, the open on the bottom. Carlsen against Bortnik, definitely the one of the bigger matchups. But in terms of the standings, James, Arjun and Jordan on that second board there just beside it, this is going to could decide the sole leader in the event. So absolutely not only the one to watch, but I'd like to jump there right away because of the position on the board. You talk about eccentric play. You would never see this in a rapid game. You agree, James? Look at that. Rook on h3, and the king is still in the middle on e1. Who's attacking who?
Yeah, and this is the caginess that you get in the quotation marks when we say cagey in the French defense. The French defense does have some caginess to it, whatever that even means. But it's just more like a fighting opening. It can be. Sometimes it can be very positional, the
Mm-hmm.
French defense, but it came from some like French advanced type of theory. It's looking crazy here. Arjun likes the French too as well. He likes to play for win with the French, right? So really interesting play here with this rook on h3. The king will go up to f2. Usually the rook goes to g3 in these lines and go for that attack. But it's hard to see from my standpoint because the pieces are just kind of clustered there. Whoa, that is okay, nice. All these moves just happen. But so he's able
So
to
it's a
hand
little bit
cast
of an
it, but now
achievement
it's
here
yeah.
to trade queens, right? Like when
Mhm.
white's playing this way, rook h3, rook g3, as black, you're not winning the game by trading queens, but it always feels like an incredible achievement to do so. And bishop takes a3, grabbing a pawn, probably feeling that rook a1 can be met by maybe bishop takes e2. But immediately the computer here is looking to play moves, honestly, like f5. How crazy is a move like that?
That is a crazy move. F5, but he didn't play it for obvious reasons. I mean, F5 is like wild. And it makes sense. It does. You could take on E6, and if he takes, then you would push E6. I'm assuming. And then rook
That's
A1. But even then,
crazy
it's still
stuff.
crazy.
This is blitz. You're going to
Yeah.
see less, much more reliance on instincts and human evaluation, which is why we're here commentating, because you can speak about the position and sort of say, well, there are natural instincts that the players are going to have here. A move like f5 is really not one of them. Rook b6 and the way that Arjun has played here makes a lot of sense. He saw he could grab that pawn because of this move, bishop takes e2. He's given up the bishop pair, and Jordan is desperately trying to justify the fact that the rook is on h3. Now, while I don't see the full justification here, I do see the fact that this e-pawn will be quite weak in this game. A move like bishop to b5 is a bit annoying for these knights to deal with. If you imagine, having to play something like knight b8 in that situation, if you recapture with the pawn, that's pretty annoying. And this bishop is way deep in enemy lines. So something like capturing bishop h4, knight e5, sliding the rook over. You can see how the pieces activate here for white.
Very quickly, as bishop b5 is on the board, it attacks the knight. Didn't take with the pawn because it was just annoying again with the knight b8 type idea. So after the knight moves or rook c8, he does go knight e7. Now we got to figure out what to do with the rook on h3, but he takes on f6 first, allowing some counterplay. Nice, just move after move attacking. Wait, this rook is kind of... Oh, he has
So
rook
this
f4,
is what
though.
I mean. This
What?
is exactly actually what I just said. The activation is here. The bishop is hitting the rook and the knight. Rook f7 has to happen. If you play knight e5, there's bishop takes d4. That saves the position. But after rook f7, there might be knight g5, which is another pretty tricky move here. e6 is hanging, the rook is hanging, and the knight will be hanging at the end of a lot of lines. And don't forget about this rook can slide over. And huge blunder, rook f1.
He hung his rook, the whole thing. Come on, oh my goodness, I'm knocking pieces off the board.
We're talking about backwards bishop moves at the highest level being missed here. Rook f1, and they talk about those sniper bishops, right? Bishop from b5 capturing backwards on f1 missed by Arjun, and Jordan is the sole leader of the World Blitz Championship after that.
He hung the whole rook, guys. That is, a snap call, knock pieces off the board. Excuse me, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It was a reaction as rook f1 just hung the entire rook on the board there. Unlike Arjun, obviously it's fast and things and emotions and like reflexes, but wow, was not expecting that one.
Well, here we're back with Magnus's position. Magnus up a little bit on time here. Of course, with 2 seconds, it's about to get completely crazy. This knight on e4 does not have a lot of squares, which is why the queen had to move from d2 so that the knight has that square to retreat to. But I'm telling you, in this position, the pieces here for white do not have the best squares. The bishop pair is very nice for black. However, as the time gets low, James, I do think it's easy to play with the knight. You can just hop around, and it is pretty intuitive.
One thing I noticed is he's controlling the knight very well with the rook on b5. I have nothing with his knight now. I would love to have the knight, but I have no moves now. And I also have no time either. Okay, well, Magnus is getting close to that too. Magnus had a little bit more time. This is 2 second increment. He has to move instantly. Queen f4. He got that off with
We're down to a pure time scramble. I feel we should let's just bring up the camera here. There's no analysis to do with 1 second on the clock.
There it is.
Queen to h5 is actually looking pretty scary, but Magnus has found a way to kick the queen out. And queen h1, alpha 0, anyone?
Position not the greatest.
The pawn on c6, James, is a thorn in the side. I think, did we see f4? Yeah, f4 allowed the bishop to go to e4. Magnus is definitely, he's misplayed this a little bit, and he can only be worse here.
Might take a draw due to the time scrambles here. Opposite color bishops.
I think white has a great position, and we'll see how confidently Bortnik plays this, but I really think that the white position is very decent here. Opposite bishops is not just going to be a draw. Magnus knows this is not a guaranteed position.
It's a light check. Move the bishop out of the way so the rook comes next. Trade them off, and
so white's going to win a pawn here, but I think it might be at the cost of just a draw on the board. So let's see if this is a fortress, because Magnus, who famously does not believe in them, is a believer right now. And the computer agrees, which is really the only... That's the only person you need to convince. And Bortnik is realizing the reality of the situation now. There is no way through the position.
Shuffle, shuffle. And there it is. Wow. Smile from Magnus there.
And there you go. Not Magnus's finest conversion there. I wouldn't say conversion because he was never that much better, but it did seem like with the bishop pair, he was fighting for that edge. And you have to give a lot of credit to Bortnik, not just standing up toe-to-toe with Magnus on the top board there, but also maneuvering and pushing for a real advantage at the end that Magnus was able to find a fortress to prevent anything worse from happening.
That was incredible. As he's playing very good chess here. Bortnik at top of the leaderboard there, or one of the tops up there. Maybe he might switch around because it was a draw with wins. They could get toppled over slightly. But big dog of the day is Jordan Van Voorhees, 6 out of 6.
One of the things that I know happens quite a lot in the world blitz is that you're seeing a lot of the games on the screen, and so many of the games are actually completed, but the result is not maybe officially showing because the kings don't get placed in the middle, just because it's such a fast-paced game, and it doesn't always get recorded properly at the end. So a lot of the games are actually completed, even though the results might not look like they're recorded.
Oh yeah, especially after blitz, people just get up a lot of times.
Exactly. Adrenaline.
Adrenaline, yeah. That's adrenaline based. But wow. Whoa, that was incredible there. What a crazy round that was. We still have games left?
So that's what I mean. It's very difficult for me to tell which game. Like, there probably are a few games, but there's so many games showing that they're in progress that I can't even jump to a game because they're actually all completed. Like, there's the refresh. We'll always be back. Magnus Carlsen up on the top board, where you can always find him, is playing Salem Saleh, and Jordan leading the event. The only player with 6 points, a full point clear, is up against Norderbeck. Looking down the list, Arjun is actually matched up against Dennis Maknev. That will be an interesting pairing to take a look at because